to see, what to rent, and what to skip. It's Movie Reviews with Ryan J.
All right, so normally the nationally syndicated Ryan J tells us which movies to see, rent, or skip. But today, these films are all must-sees, if only to see how they influenced our generations and other generations in different ways. I love this.
Yeah, fun.
Right, yeah, it's kind of different.
It is different. Okay, so let's start breaking them down, starting with the 3 I's. What do you say the 3 I's are?
Well, I used the 3 I's in choosing the movies that we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
So they are impressive, iconic, influential. They're impressive because they're all super entertaining films, iconic because they represent a generation, and then influential because they sort of shaped the generation that they represent.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
whether it's style or the lingo or whatever
The way
else.
we treat people, the way we think of ourselves.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with the 80s, because I got to know what movie you picked from the 80s and what types of characters we see in this movie.
I mean, the 80s was like Spielberg's, decade, right? With E.T. and Indiana Jones. But I chose something from 1985. This year is the 30th anniversary of The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You gotta.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so good, written and directed by John Hughes, and he is iconic unto himself. He also did 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and this was a movie that really made us think about identity, who people perceive us as versus who we know we actually are in high school.
Yep. It's very true.
I love that. What other, wasn't there a movie recently that referred to it, or?
There is a Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
There was a great song, Don't Forget About Me, at the end of Pitch Perfect, so that kind of hammered in how iconic it actually is. And if we look at the characters in this, there are types of characters in high school. There's the jock, there's the pretty girl, there's the rebel, there's the brainiac, there's the introvert. And so we all kind of identified with one of these characters, and that's who they represented in their school. But when you got to know them all, this movie, peeled back the layers to their onion, so to speak, and they had so much more in common than we really give credit for. And I think it's like almost like a metaphor for life.
It's true. Everybody loves it. I don't know anybody that doesn't love that movie.
Right.
It's great.
So good.
Okay, so how about the 90s? Let's move on to the 90s.
Yes, and this was also a really, really big decade. You had everything from Toy Story, which changed animation, to Schindler's List, But 1995, this year's the 20th anniversary of Clueless.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So good.
Loved that movie.
Favorite thing about this movie is the costumes. Costume designer Mona May, and she came out with those plaid skirts. The 90s were all about grunge.
Loved those plaid skirts.
The
high
sandals,
socks.
right? High socks. But everybody at school, I was at college at the time, but people were wearing the baggy pants and everything else. But these girls came out so high stylized, and this is a movie that's sort of a precursor to Sex and the City. This was a film where the costumes were another character in the movie, and they really represented who these people were, and our clothing really became a part of our identity.
Yeah.
Who are the breakout stars from that?
Well, of course, it's Alicia Silverstone, but she doesn't work as much as like Paul Rudd does, who played her stepbrother. And how cute was he? This is Paul Rudd before he was really Paul Rudd, action
Who
star.
did not fall in love with him in that movie? I did.
Of course, so
in
cute,
love.
so sweet. And then also Brittany Murphy, Gone Too Soon, but she was great. She was the makeover. This movie was loosely based on Emma, Jane Austen's Emma. Yeah, and she had a makeover scene. We always love a great makeover in a movie, so this was transformative that way. And there were some really great quotes in this movie. Right?
Give us one.
As if.
Yeah,
as if.
Everybody said as if.
She's a full-on Monet.
Yeah.
We know what that means. Surfing the Crimson Wave. That time of the month. And then it was also when we came up with this. Do you remember this? Whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
That's from Clueless.
That's wild. And my 16-year-old daughter, it's her favorite movie.
As well it should be.
So it lasts so long, I mean, that's what I think is cool about it. What about the 2000s?
2000s were a little bit more difficult because it's so recent, but there was one franchise in the 2000s that really crossed all generations and broke all demographics. From 2001 to 2011, all 8 films of the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
Just so brilliant. I love these movies, and not just because of the magic and the effects and how great they are, but it returned people to reading. This series was credited as these movies as bringing kids back to reading.
I've never seen one of those movies.
I haven't either. Not
Goodbye.
a single one. I know. It's amazing we're even friends, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, seriously.
Why do you think so many people love it? Why do you think it spoke to so many generations? Because it wasn't just kids.
Right.
I mean, there were adults who were like geeking out over it, like you.
And every demographic.
You're total geeking out.
I am in my room. It's why I'm single.
I know.
But
That Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. But it's because it's not just about magic
Yeah.
and all of magic was the device to tell a story about love. You know, it's really about friendship and family and love and the ultimate, you know, good versus evil story.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it speaks to everyone.
We have less than a minute, so we
Oh.
gotta run. Romantic movies. Anything you want to say there?
I just like that there's, you know, romantic dramas and
The
romantic
Notebook.
comedies.
I love The Notebook.
Taught us how to stay committed and how to, you know, keep our love true. And then when it comes to romantic comedies, When Harry Met Sally
Yes.
was iconic because
of that dinner scene.
that dinner scene in the diner, right? That was hilarious.
Yep.
I'll have what she's having. You know, who could forget that? But also, it ruined us for the holiday of New Year's Eve because who
Yeah.
wants to be a single or alone now on New Year's Eve? It also teaches you to marry your best friend instead of, you know, the infatuation of the month.
The hot guy.
Love
right,
that.
right.
Okay, and do we hit the drama, the dramatic?
Yeah, The Notebook.
The
I
Notebook,
just wanted to
okay.
say, and what
Yeah.
I love about The Notebook is that, you know, it really made you think about the relationship that if you didn't have that you want to have, and the importance of commitment and true love and staying
And
together.
longevity, and into old age, which you know sometimes you don't think about in early love. Blu-ray giveaways, something you want to mention
I
about
do have
that?
a giveaway, just, you know, in theme with it's the Heathers on Blu-ray.
I've never
which
seen that.
You
No.
should see it. It's the movie that there would be no Mean Girls if not for Heathers.
What genre is it?
It's a dark comedy.
Okay.
But it's really ahead of its time. It's rated R and it's a high school film, but it's very rated R. Like you can't even say any quotes on the air from this movie. They're all hilarious, but they're so R-rated.
So how can
But
people win it?
Enter to win it at my website. And
Okay.
it's the movie that like the Breakfast Club should have been. You know what I mean?
Okay. I
So,
like that. So go to RyanJReviews.com. You can like him on Facebook, follow him on Twitter, and for his full movie reviews, check out that website, RyanJReviews.com. You're the best.
I
Oh,
love
come on.
that. That was fun to talk
Sorry,
about.
they
Thanks, you too.
we haven't watched Harry Potter.
We're gonna have to.
All right.
We're gonna-
All
I'm,
of
gonna,
them?
I'm gonna zip you up for a weekend and just
Rainy
play all
days.
8 movies.
Rainy
Oh.
weekend.
That seems like a long weekend. No,
You're
no,
gonna
I'm kidding.
love it. You're gonna love it. Life changing.
Yeah.
I promise.
Thanks
Anyway,
a lot,
thank you
Ryan.
too.
Good stuff.